ETV Africa News at this hour.
I stand here today to celebrate a life and not to mourn a death. I would say that Ras stood out in this country. Very few people have had the daring to challenge the colonial edicts that are there and that guide us, that do not respect the edict of our sense of worship, that do not respect that we live in the East and not in the West, that we live in the point of sunrise and not in the point of sunset, that do not respect our skin because they do not understand it. I think Ras stood out. He stood out for he presented the culture of the black man, which is signified in every way. Many people do not know the meaning of the color of black. Black is the color of light. That is why in your house, what keeps your food warm and your family warm every day is black charcoal, for there is no white charcoal. There is no white charcoal. That is the source of light and heat. When we wear shoes, nearly everybody here wearing shoes, you will find that the soles are black, because black is the color of fire, and that's why all tires are black. Black is also the color of mystery, and that is why the Holy Bible is covered in black. And that is why when you graduate, you're also given a black gown. And that's why I wear a black cap, because it's the color of light. I stand here in praise of the work that my brother has done, and I stand here in the hope that those who have been left behind shall finish the mission, because life is a relay. I do my mile, and I pass it on to you. So when you find, for us who have lived along the Nile Valley, which is our home, and which is the home of the first civilization, and who know the perils and the pains of carrying the black color of light, walking through it and shining brightly across all the darknesses that we encounter, you must celebrate the life of a man who has stood up to be counted when many other simpler men chose co-option, chose convenience, and they could not stand up and say, this is who I am, and this is what I am. I will not fight with you, but I will outthink you. I will outdo you, but using the logic of the law. Ras did that. And that's why we are here today. I celebrate his work, especially as a black man, because the color of writing that we know in the world is black. There is no white that writes on black paper in school, but there is black ink that writes on white paper in school, because black is the relay of knowledge, and black is the transmission of knowledge. So I appreciate his work. I also appreciate his work as a black man, because black is the color of power and energy. That is why the steering wheel of every car you drive is only black. That's why the gear lever is black. That's why the pedals of every car are black. That is why the oil that runs it is black. Black is the color of heat, it is the color of energy, and it is the color of power. Black is not just a color. It is the mysteriousness that brings about all other colors. That's why above all, we may wear black, but upon that black we know there shall be green that shall come out of it. We know that there shall be red that shall come out of it. We know there shall be yellow that shall come out of it. But we know that ultimately the mother and the source of all secrets, all good things, is black. That is why the judge wears a black gown. That is why the pastor wears a black gown. That is why the graduate wears a black gown. And that is why most of all, we have black hair. To the family of Ras, you have not lost. You're victors. Where one seed drops, another one grows. And that seed that shall grow is here amongst us, and even if it's not amongst us, and if it wasn't still born, it shall only be born within this lineage. The water of the Nile you will not find in the Atlantic or in the Pacific. You will find it just along the Nile and the lake. It does not go anywhere. So the spirit of the Nile that lives amongst us, let us give praise and thanks to the Almighty. Let us give praise and thanks to the truth and to a simple and organic life. But most of all, let us celebrate the black man's culture. I thank you all for giving me this spare moment to speak and to share a small word with you. I also bring the condolences of my friend, Professor George Wajakoya, from the Roots Party, who was here earlier. I had asked him to come. He came and joined us, but I think time was a bit. He sat here for about 45 minutes and left. But he asked me to express and to share his condolences to the family, the friends, and the entire Rastafarian community in Kenya and beyond, and to wish you God's blessing in everything you do. And life is what it is. You shall prosper, because life is also about living and profit. God bless you all, and may we continue in the spirit of brotherhood that we have had from the beginning to date. Aluta continua.
The elder has really defended this community and represented this community of the Rastafari people in Kenya in many pertinent issues. We know about the court case that he led the community to win against the state, to allow our children also to be equal to the other children in schools when they're going to school. Just to be like the Muslim child who is allowed and is respected to wrap the hijab and to wear the kanzu on a Friday. He made sure that also the Rasta child also is also equal to the others.